Welcome inside the Southern Illinois Arena in Carbondale, Illinois for today's Missouri Valley Conference matchup between Creighton and Southern Illinois. A pleasant good morning, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera. They may become as good as this, but they don't get any better than this matchup between Creighton and Southern Illinois, and the fans are certainly ready for this. Both teams want this for different reasons. Joining me is John Albright. It's an important game for both teams.
John Paul, it certainly is. First for Southern Illinois, a win here. They sweep both games with the first-place Blue Jays. The momentum going into the tournament is certainly there for the Salukis. Also, for a time being, because of the early start, you'd have 5 teams in the Valley all tied in the loss column with 3 losses. Now, that'll be taken care of later on in the day. Now, for Creighton on the other side, they can take care of the Valley regular season race by themselves. They've only lost 2 games, so if they win here, they make up for that home court loss. They're looking to set the mark for everybody else to chase.
That's what John Albright thinks. Now let's see what the coaches of both of these teams think about today's game.
Well, this is a big game in the conference race today. Southern Illinois, I think, is playing the best of any team in our league right now. They got knocked off at Bradley, but they were without Jerry Jones. They've got a great mix. They're a very physical team. They do a tremendous job on the glass. And I think the biggest improvement of any team in our league has come from Southern Illinois in terms of their defense. It's a very physical defense, and you have to be prepared for that kind of a game.
We have 7 conference games left. They're all very important, and this has to be the most important right now because we're getting ready to play here in just a few minutes. And, you know, I think we got to give Creighton another defeat or we don't have a chance. And Creighton is in the driver's seats, even though they finished 5 games on the road and we finished 5 of the last 7 at home. This is very important to us.
Both teams are riding on a good winning streak as they come into today's game. We'll meet the players, the starting lineups for both teams when we come back to Carbondale. Welcome back, everyone. The home team Salukis come in with an overall record of 18-5, trying for their 2nd consecutive 20-win season. They've not done that since the NIT years of Walt Frazier. Now let's meet both of these teams. Here's public address announcer Brian Baggett.
Today, Southern Illinois University hosts the Blue Jays from Creighton University in a Missouri Valley Conference game. Now let's meet the starting lineups. First for the Creighton Blue Jays. At one forward, a 6'6" junior from Loveland, Colorado, number 30, Bob Harstad. At the other forward, a 6'4" junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 44, Darren Plotz. At center for the Blue Jays, a 6'10" junior from Rockford, Illinois, number 25, Chad Gallagher. At guard, 6'4", a senior from Cleveland, Ohio, number 22, Matt Roggenberg. And at the other guard for Creighton, a 5'10" sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 14, Juwan Cole.
Jays, Tony Baroni.
And now,
he knows
let's
this
meet
is a big
the
one.
Salukis. At one forward, 6'8", a junior from Centralia, Illinois, number 40, Rick Shipley. At the other forward, 6'7", a freshman from Oak Park, Illinois, number 50, Ashraf Amaya. At the center spot, 6'6", a senior from Country Club Hills, Illinois, number 44, Jerry Jones. At the guards, a 6'1" senior, junior from Maywood, Illinois, number 11, Sterling Mahan. And finally, 6'5", a senior from Birmingham, Alabama, number 23, Freddie McSwain. Creighton is coached by Tony Baroni, now in his 5th year. The Salukis are coached by Rich Heron, also in his 5th season. Today's officials, Dan Chrisman, Chris Hill, and Terry Turlington from the Missouri Valley Conference.
Still leads in the overall series 24-14, but fresh in their memory for Creighton is their loss last week. We'll tip it off when we come back to Carbondale. We're all set for the tip-off. Jerry Jones, bothered by a flu condition, will jump against Chad Gallagher. It'll be interesting to see how many minutes Jones can play today and how effective. He has lost in a week anywhere between 10 and 15 pounds, and anyone that knows Jerry Jones can plainly see it. Off the tip, Darren Plotz for Creighton. Blue Jays in blue, Southern Illinois in white. Gallagher outside to Harstad.
John Paul, will be important for the Blue Jays to establish that outside game, to loosen it up inside so the big guys can go to work inside.
A lot of turnovers a week ago. They didn't want to see that one this early. McSwain took a bump, lost it there, hesitated a little bit, changed his mind, and now the Blue Jays equalize Southern Illinois in terms of a turnover apiece.
Both teams will play a lot of man-to-man. The Salukis open up in man.
Gallagher's had a great last 3 games, and I believe he got nailed for a foul going up right after he missed the shot.
Two coaches with opposite coaching styles. Tony Baroni, you had to characterize him as an up-tempo coach, whereas Rich Herod, a middle-of-the-road tempo coach. You see the streak there. Salukis have won 6 of their last 7 games, and they are in a position, if they could win today, to have an opportunity to win that Valley regular season championship.
Underneath, there's Jerry Jones.
Well, early on, the big question about Jerry Jones, how many minutes can he go? And as you heard Rich here on top of the show, can he play hard when he's in there? Early on, looks like he's going to be able to.
Harstad, the turnaround jumper, and Bob Harstad ties it at 2.
Very familiar sight for the Creighton Blue Jays.
And as Mahan drove in, there's a foul.
Looking at the 4 keys to the game, rebounding, Tony Baroni really wants to concentrate on that rebounding area. Better shooting. The reason the better shooting has got to be perimeter, because the perimeter opens up that inside game. Normal game from Bob Harstad, well, that speaks for itself. They want to get that perimeter open where he can operate inside. Now let's look at Southern Illinois. Maintain defense. They have very good athletes. They can go out and extend on the perimeter, so they want to continue that. The control boards, they're ranked in the top 20 nationally in offensive rebounding margin. Overall rebounding margin. And we showed Jerry, we talked about Jerry Jones already. How many minutes can he go, and can he play hard when he's in there?
Mahan missed the first free throw. That's been a thorn in Southern's side all year. That's their only weakness. He's almost at 70%. 1 for 2 at the free throw line, and Mahan is on the board. It's a 3-2 lead here for the Salukis as Cole brings it up quickly. Moser, who has just checked in.
Well, you get a great idea of Freddie McSwain, his athletic ability. At 6'5", he's going to cart Cole, who's only 5'10".
Gallagher was blocked. McSwain, he can fly against Cole. Off the glass, he missed, and there's Moser, who had just checked in for Roggenberg in the opening minute. The give to Gallagher, and he puts it in. Chad Gallagher has a couple, and Creighton takes a 4-3 lead.
Nice transition basket that time by the Blue Jays. They got the rebound. We talked about how important that is, and the transition game worked to perfection.
This is as early in a game as you'll see Porter Moser. He's a great substitute off the bench, but he came in after about a minute. We have a traveling violation on Southern Illinois.
You get a good look at Jerry Jones. He's coming off flu problems. What that does is a player that just kills your wind. You may be feeling okay physically, but when you start running up and down, your legs give out on you. And once that happens, you really need to go sit down.
Last week against Bradley, he did not play in that loss. Southern still felt that they could have won that ball game, so they're not making excuses. But it's tough to lose a guy that can hit double figures in boards and points. And play a tough job defensively as well. Moser from Cole in front of the Salukis bench. 4-3, Blue Jays are leading. It's 17:53 to go here in the first half. Plouts, he can hit the 3, and he does.
Well, for Tony Baroni's team, that's a good sign. They want that perimeter game to open up where Southern Illinois has got to extend the defense, and that'll open it up inside for Gallagher and Harstad.
7-3, Blue Jays lead. Here's McSwain driving against Moser on the pull-up jumper. Misfires, rebound underneath by Harstad. He's second in the Valley in rebounds. Up for Cole.
Good job that time by Southern Illinois of stopping that break.
Gallagher, no denying Chad Gallagher, coming off 3 outstanding games, and one of them was against this Southern team.
Well, the Salukis did a good job of stopping the break, but Creighton found Gallagher inside open, and he went right to it immediately.
On the baseline drive, Mahan was going up, stripped to the ball. Nice D underneath. McSwain against Moser, and he put it up. Freddie McSwain, their leading scorer, gets better than 17 a game.
Well, McSwain causes some athletic matchup problems for the Blue Jays, and when he can get inside like that with his great jumping ability, he's going to cause problems.
Underneath, Bob Harstad. Great block by Amaya. As it was played out, there was a whistle from somewhere. Perhaps an inadvertent whistle, or perhaps from someone in the stands, but a couple players stopped. Gallagher with a miss. Got his own rebound. I thought lost it, and he did. Good call by the official. He lost it off his knee, out of play.
Well, that time Gallagher brought it down, and he brings everybody into play at 6'10". Keep it up above you.
Kelvin Lawrence will come in. He does a great job off the bench. Ironically, when he played as a starter for Jones, the numbers were not that good.
Well, you can see he had an excellent outing against Creighton, and he's in there early.
People that were there, myself included, would tell you that Lawrence and Amaya won the game for them. They were the unexpected big surprises. Another miss, and right now Southern is not hitting, and the shots they're taking are not bad ones.
Well, Lawrence just came off the bench. You usually want to run up and down the court, go ahead and get a sweat before you put that first shot up.
Cole, Lola Harstad wants to go up on the double team. It was blocked, but we've got a foul underneath. Bob Harstad. Foul appears to be on Jerry Jones, and it is. One of the key guys was Jones last week in defending Harstad.
Well, when you give Bob Harstad the ball right here, you're asking for trouble. Now watch him, little head fake, a couple of guys by it, could actually had 2 fouls, take your pick, but he's dangerous when you let him in that area.
Roggenberg comes in, Plouts goes out, and Amaya comes back in for Jerry Jones. Last week, Southern was so effective against Harstad. He shot 3 for 17, but he was double-teamed a lot. Jones did well defensively, but there was inside help, especially when the Blue Jays' outside game of Tony Baroni's wasn't clicking.
It's a 2-prong offense. Again, it all centers around that perimeter game, effectively being able to draw the defense out. Once you do that, then Gallagher and Harstad can operate man-to-man, and they're going to win more times than they're going to lose with that scenario.
Harstad was 1 for 2 there. Teams that played Creighton will tell you it's the inside-outside game they worry about. The dynamic duo gets all the publicity, but the coaches know they can hit the 3. They're one of the best teams in the Valley in that area.
Well, you can stop one facet. When you have 2 or 3 things to think about, that's when you become a good basketball team.
McSwain missed the 2. He starts off this game as cold as he was a week ago. Coming back, here's Cole. Gives it out to Harstad. Roggenberg hit 6 threes last year in the championship game. Here's Moser. He misses on his first try. He was 4 for 10 the other night. Had some big threes.
Lawrence did a nice job of getting out and challenging that shot.
And that's what Southern does well and did well last week. Mahan missed a jumper. No one is hitting for Southern. And now it's Harstad to Dwan Cole. Yeah, there's some piercing whistles coming from the stands right now. I hope it doesn't affect the play, but they're pretty loud. Off a deflection, the ball will stay right there. And Rich Herron upset about that. He thought there should have been a travel. We have a timeout here in Carbondale, and right now the Blue Jays have doubled the Salukis early. That's what happened last week when these two clubs met, and Mahan came up with a game-high 18 points, but it's this man that the Creighton Blue Jays have really depended on. They're 8-1 since he started at the point guard, so he is Mahan's counterpart. Last week, between the two of them, uncharacteristically, they had 15 turnovers.
Also 27 steals in that basketball game. Early on shooting percentages, Creighton 4 out of 8 for 50%. The Salukis only 2 for 7 from the floor.
And that's a reversal from last week when Creighton shot well below their average and Southern was way up.
Again, with that perimeter shooting, if it's on, that'll create additional problems for the Salukis inside.
Dwan Cole is a good three-point shooter, but he missed that shot. 10-5, Creighton leading it. 15 minutes to go. They were looking inside for Shipley, and Harstad got a deflection. Thought it was going to be the other way. Thought he hit it off of Shipley. And now Plouts and Latrell Wrightsell come in. Wrightsell was the starting point guard. Actually, Cole started game 1, then Wrightsell came in, and I think Tony Baroni's upset at that shot selection of Cole's, that three-pointer.
It's one of those, if it goes, it's a great play.
Right.
If it doesn't, you get a chance to sit down and watch the game for a little bit.
Enjoy the view, like we are. Shipley couldn't make it count. And those are the kind that Shipley makes.
Well, that's where the 6'10 Gallagher, his presence, you think just a little bit longer about putting it up comfortably, and that cost him the bucket.
That's a good point. Gallagher leads the Valley in block shots this year. Already more than he had all of last season. Gallagher, nice dish underneath to Harstad. That would have counted had it gone in. I like to see it when the big man can make that nice bounce pass in.
Well, the nice thing that Bob Harstad did is the way he set up and sealed his man off. Now, watch Harstad. Now, he's going to come in the left hand. Great pass by Gallagher, but watch Harstad. He had his man sealed off. There's no way that Amaya can do anything but foul him when he's got him sealed off in the back.
Harstad at the free throw line. As a freshman, he was a 60% free throw shooter, and all he did was work and shoot in the gym every day, and now he's almost at 80. That's just in a couple of years. Sporting News named him Player of the Week, January 29th. Great publicity, not just for he personally, but also for the Missouri Valley. That was a national award. Harstad makes them both. Bob Harstad early in this one.
All right, Creighton's going to come up with a 1-3-1 half-court trap. It'll be up to Mahan to recognize it and then call the correct offense. They'll try it for one time, and then they'll back down into a 2-3 zone.
Here's Shipley. He can hit the three for a big player.
Big basket. The Salukis needed a burst like that, and Rick Shipley gave it to him.
That can break up a zone. Wrightsell to Plouts. 12-8, a 4-point lead. Biggest lead has been 5 thus far for Creighton. Southern got the first basket, but then they've been cold ever since. Until that last 3. Here's Wrightsell. The sophomore gives it out to Harstad. Skip pass, Plouts faked it, then went up. That was a 2-pointer. He was in 3-point range earlier. Harstad, nice pump. Right back up is Bob Harstad. He has 7 points. He's already better than halfway to what he had a week ago. Creighton leading it by 6.
Blue Jays doing exactly what you want to on the road. They've come out, established themselves early, and they've taken some of this crowd out of it, and the momentum is clearly in their side.
There's Shipley. The baseline jumper is good. And they're going to want to get the ball in Shipley's hands now. Great dish underneath Harstad. Great athleticism by the big player, but it didn't fall.
Well, that time Mahan came across and just got his hand on the ball enough to affect that Harstad shot.
Shipley again. That looks like a 3.
Well, we expected a close one, and we're getting everything we thought we would here.
Now, 1 point. Separate these two teams. This is a showcase game. Gallagher underneath as he played it out, an offensive foul.
Excellent help defense that time by the Salukis. Now watch Freddie McSwain. He's waiting on him. Gallagher ducked his shoulder. No doubt about the call. Good help defense that time by Freddie McSwain.
Good call. Tyrone Bell checking into the lineup. He is a freshman. Bell is in.
Okay, Jerry Jones has been on the bench for a long time. It'll be interesting to see what he can do when he comes back in.
Here's Shipley playing it to Bell. Now to Mahan. McSwain is out. Intended for Amaya, and Gallagher comes back with the ball. Now Cole, who is also checked back in for Wrightsell. It's really a 3-guard offense right now for Tony Baroni with Roggenberg and Plouts. They've got the outside shooters. Gallagher wanted to kick it to Harstad. Not a good decision. But Creighton will maintain possession up by 1. That's too far. That's NBA 3-point range. Here's Gallagher. Right-hander off the glass. No good. Mahan got the rebound. He's in transition. Mahan running the show. Low to Bell. Foul on the play by Roggenberg. But Mahan got them out of the starting gate in a hurry.
Well, they want to run. They want to use that athletic talent. They have more athletes than do the Blue Jays, and this is where athletes show up best. In the open court on the break, you see Bell's going to take it in hard. Roggenberg still moving. We talked about Jerry Jones. He's back in the game. Lawrence is going to sit down, but it'll be interesting for Jerry Jones because now he's been winded. He's come back in, and this will be an interesting little stretch for him because if he's got any wind problems or he's still got some nagging effects, this is where he'll show up. He'll be able to go less minutes right now.
Troy Bell is coming to the lineup, replacing Bob Harstad. And anyone that's watched Valley basketball knows that Harstad will not get much of a rest. Just a little breather early. Second free throw is missed as Gallagher took the boards down.
And we talked about the rebounding, just pretty even. The Blue Jays hold a 1 rebound advantage over Southern Illinois at this point.
In all the games that they've played this year for Southern, in the 23 games, only 6 times have they been out-rebounded, once by Creighton. But Creighton lost that game. Roggenberg for 3, in and out. Tip controlled by Gallagher. His running 15-footer is good.
Good follow-up that time by Chad Gallagher.
He has a nice soft touch for a big man. 15 feet is well within his range.
And he knows what to do with the basketball when he gets it. A very good offensive player.
Here's Amaya, and Amaya comes back to equalize it. Taking it one step further on Gallagher, he's 5 for 7 in 3-point range.
Well, there's difference between scorers and offensive players. Gallagher can't do it individually. He's not a scorer, but he is an offensive player. Once he gets it in the set, he knows what to do with.
Mahan, guilty of the foul, got the slap in there as Rich Heron points out some instructions. Sterling Mahan has really done a great job with this team. He replaced Nuremberger, who ran the show last year, and what they've done here is they've added more quickness and a better defensive player, and that's helped Southern Illinois because field goal defense-wise, they're #1 in the Valley. Tony Baroni and Rich Heron are dead even, 16 apiece in the first half. We want to remind you that the announcers for this game have been contracted for and approved by the Missouri Valley Conference, and any use, rebroadcast, or the transmission of this game without the written consent of the Missouri Valley Conference and Creative Sports Marketing is prohibited. I'm John Paul Della Camera with John Albright. We've got a good game for you. 16-16. It's living up to what we expected.
Well, early on, Gallagher and Harstad leading both their clubs from the field, and it's because of that outside shooting that they're able to operate inside.
Plouts just hit 2, giving Creighton an 18-16 lead.
Well, Harstad's got 7 and Gallagher 6. And again, that perimeter game opens up the middle for those two big guys to operate.
And Harstad is back in. Jones' shot is missed. Gallagher, however, is out. So Tyrone Bell stayed in there. Gallagher the other night had 3 fouls, and Tony Barone had arrested him with 5 minutes to go in the first half. Second half, he had 16 out of his 23 points. Great block from Amaya. That's 2 if you keep it score at home.
That sends a little message also to Harstad. Hey, we're not going to give you anything inside easily.
I thought that was a good block, but apparently Cole got the slap in there. So a personal foul on DeJuan Cole.
You're going to watch Amaya operating inside. Harstad goes straight up. And you see Amaya, he's right there with him. Harstad has been giving that little pump fake, decided not to go to it this time, and Amaya was waiting on him.
Rich Herron thinks that Amaya is the freshman player and maybe the newcomer of the year in the Missouri Valley Conference, and everybody wants to tout their own players, but you could make a very good case for Amaya as Bell is at the free throw line.
Interesting story about him. Fred Huff, the sports information director here, the first days was asking him what he wanted to go by, Andy or Andrew, as he's known in Chicago where he grew up, and he said, well, I'd like to be called by my name, Ashraf.
Announcers really like that name.
So if you remember an Amaya floating around, yes, this is the same one that played in Chicago.
That's the guy. Here's Plautz to Bell. They work it to Roggenberg. Harstad. That was a tough entry pass, and he made it count. That was a bullet pass from Roggenberg.
Again, Harstad just does such an excellent job of posting up and sealing off his man down low.
Here's Bell coming in, looking for help on the baseline. Doesn't find it. McSwain, who is back in, takes a shot, misses. Jones, the rebound, stripped by Roggenberg. And here comes Cole. DeJuan Cole, outside Roggenberg, almost walked. Rebound underneath Harstad on the Bell missed shot. Tried to go up, stripped away. And there's Bell.
It all started when Roggenberg should have put the shot up. He didn't, and they didn't come up with anything.
Shipley. Bell's shot. That's an air ball. On the rebound, McSwain and Roggenberg. Great effort from McSwain. And it's going to go the other way. He's out of bounds.
Well, what happened is his feet, his upper body and where he hit the ball was on the playing court, but his feet touched the out-of-bounds line on the side, and the official right there with a good call.
John, what's happening with Shipley? He had a 3-pointer, then a 2, and then all of a sudden they can't find him.
Well, we'll take a look at it now. Watch McSwain. Watch his feet right there. Yeah. Just before he hit the ball. Excellent call by the official. Well, Shipley, he's got to get more involved in the offense, and really this is where your point guard, now Mahan's going to come back in. That's where you say, hey, we're going to get the ball to Shipley, and you've got to give him the opportunity. If he doesn't get the ball, there's nothing he can do about it. Again, he is a person that relies on playing out of the offense. He can't do it individually.
Gallagher getting ready to check back in. Creighton has opened up a 3-point lead. Moser, the 3-point specialist, will miss there. He's 0 for 2. Off a tip, Bell. Good rebound. Away from the basket. Moser, the entry pass. Harstad, a running right-hander, was no good on the hook. Coming back, here's McSwain. Southern trailing it by 3. Kelvin Lawrence driving in and then took a bump from Cole, I thought before the shot. And that should be the 7th foul on the Blue Jays. It would put them in the bonus. Unless they're going to call the act of shooting. I didn't think he had gotten up.
I thought the official said that he is going to be given two free throws. He was in the act of shooting. We'll take a look at it now. Lawrence is going to go flying through. You see, not much contact. Actually, their feet got hooked up just a little bit. Actually looked worse than it was. But Cole will pick up the foul. And he is going to be given 2 free throws. They did say he was in the act of shooting.
Cole has 3 personals already. The free throw is good. That could be anyone, right? Send dollars in an NCAA bid.
Now, I wonder if Jim Hart will be your guest at halftime. I wonder if that was set up there purposely from the athletic department.
You never know. We'll have Jim in a pre-recorded conversation, so we can't ask him about it. Here's Plautz coming back the other way. Now to Cole. Plautz blocked. Oh, that's 3 big rejections by Southern, who block a lot of shots as a team. Jerry Jones is their leading shot blocker.
Now, this is going to be a nice block, but you never give up the baseline like Lawrence did. He's fortunate that Shipley came over and helped him out with a big defensive play.
Bell comes back in for Lawrence, who checks out, and Plautz will inbound it. A 1-point Blue Jays lead. Moser, Plautz, and Cole. Plautz, who filled in well for the injured Todd Eisner. Moser missing the 3, and now he's 0 for 3. Harstad.
The Blue Jays winning the battle on the boards. They've got a 7-rebound advantage.
Let's see. The 2 referees are looking at one another. They're going to count the basket. But is the foul going to be on Harstad? Yes, it appears so.
You're going to see Harstad come off the pick. Mahan, he's there. Good call. No doubt about the charge. And the bucket's going to count. Now let's take a look where the contact occurs. He released it. Basket will count, and Mahan, who is in excellent defensive position, will go to the other end to try to shoot a 1-and-1.
So Mahan will try and convert the other side. Only 3 fouls for the Salukis, so they're a very good defensive team, but they don't foul that much, at least not today. They've blocked a lot of shots, though, cleanly. Otherwise, I mean, if you're not sharp in that category, there's a few more fouls on the board. Mahan's free throw is good, so he'll get another.
Well, I'll tell you, the blocking shots is nice as you get a good look at Creighton head coach Tony Baroni, but if that continues, there are problems, because if people are having to come over and block shots all the time, people are getting away from their men.
Harstad lifting it up for Gallagher. Here's where they use 2 big men to try and beat the trap. Intercepted by Shipley. He took it from Cole, the dish, Bell, crunched by Gallagher. That's frustration. And that's one where Chad really lost his cool. That's his 3rd personal foul.
That's a big foul in this basketball game. Gallagher is going to have to probably go sit down the final 8 minutes. You see Shipley come up with a nice steal, and watch him wait. He doesn't pass it down low, waits to Bell to come in. And you see Gallagher gets all ball, but he also got a lot of body. Now watch the body. See the body contact right there. That's where the foul occurred. And you see Bell, he's the recipient of that blow. It's his first free throw.
Now, Tony Baroni brought Dwan Cole over. He's more upset with the play at point guard, it seems like, than he is with anything else.
Well, they didn't recognize the press that time. It surprised him. As the point guard on the floor, you've got to recognize the press and get your club in the right press offense.
Bell will be at the line. Rebounding, Southern with 10. Creighton, 18 of them. That was one of the keys to winning. Ball is stripped away, and then off Shipley. Here's Cole.
It's a tough pass like that inside to handle, and Shipley couldn't come up with it.
Tie game at 22. Creighton's biggest lead was 5. Plouch outside to Moser. I can't recall Southern leading except the first basket. Cole outside to Plouch.
It has been a good half for the Blue Jays.
That pass just made it, and Shipley blocked it. That's 4 blocks. Harstad wanted a foul, but he doesn't get a call, and Tony Baroni's hot.
I'm not sure that he's not right with the body contact. I think Shipley got all ball, and there may have been some body there.
Here's Bell. That's what is often overlooked when you're watching it. Plouts to Moser. You're so busy watching for the foul up top on a block that you don't see the body contact low.
Well, again, JP, we talked about it. When you've got to rely on that block all the time to save you, it's going to catch up before long.
Harstad, a tough pass inside. Here's Bell wanting to go up, and he draws a foul underneath on Shipley. So Bell will go to the free throw line, and Bell has some problems there, only 7 for 24.
Harstad misses the shot, but Bell's got excellent rebounding position. He's going to take it, go up strong, and watch Shipley. Again, he blocks it, but this time he picks up the foul with a body contact.
Roggenberg will come in. He's talking now with Tony Baroni. He is checked in for Moser. Here's Bell. As badly as Bell has struggled at the free throw, he hit 2 big ones the other night against Wichita in the closing moments of their win.
Well, at that time, excellent form, and the end result looked like he's an excellent shooter. But you see his number there on the year, struggling at only 23% from the line.
Well, he doesn't get there much, as I said earlier, 7 for 24. Jones comes in for Shipley. What they're getting from Jones is bursts. Not maybe 15 consecutive minutes, but 3 or 4 here, 5 or 6 there.
Well, as long as they can stay in the game, they can do that. They can ship him in and out. So it's a close ball game, 1-point game at this point. Rich Aaron has to feel pleased where his club is with Jones and the problems that he's had.
On the opposite side, Gallagher with 3 fouls, just like he did the other night. But at that point, Tony Baroni pulled him with about 5 minutes to go. Here, there was better than 7. Here's Jones in the paint. He stripped. Cole with a tip, and it lands out of play. The ball will stay that way. So Southern Illinois will have the ball, but right now there's a timeout on the floor. So it's still a close one here in Carbondale. 23-22. Blue Jays, the road team, up by 1. Auburn a 1-point lead here for Creighton. The biggest surprise might be the board advantage, 20-13, largely because of Harstad.
Well, Harstad's got 7. He's a workhorse inside. You see, he's also got 11 points. Shipley of the Salukis will lead them with 8.
But it's a different game than a week ago in terms of Harstad's play, where he was 3 for 17. He's very much alive in this one, but a lot of it has been because of the other factors around here.
Okay, the Blue Jays have now gone to a 2-3 zone. It's going to give Southern Illinois a little different look, and with Gallagher out of there, this will also help a rebounding situation.
Mahan's 3 is good, and a foul on Plouts. This could be a 4-point play, and this is the first time Southern has led since the opening bucket.
Boy, what a big mistake this is by Darren Plouts. And you're going to see Mahan. He's clearly set up outside the line. Plouts giving the effort, but not a smart effort as he picks up the foul. It gives Sterling Mahan an opportunity for the 4-point play. What a big switch in this game it'll be. Big momentum changer.
Well, there's a 1-point lead for Creighton. Now a 2-point edge for Southern, and make it 3. So, in one trip down the floor, Southern Illinois with 4 points. They lead at 26-23. 6:55 to go in the first half. Here's Plouts outside to right cell. They're working without Gallagher, who has 3 fouls. Bell in his stead here has 4 rebounds. Underneath, the forced pass for Harstad.
That's got to be a bounce pass that time. He was open, but it's got to be the bounce pass.
Plouts in the outside, trying to deny the 3. Harstad away from the basket. Plouts faking, now going up for the 2-pointer, and he hits it. Darren Plouts, who played on a junior college national champion, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, a year ago, gets that 2.
Again, you get a good look at the 2-3 zone from Creighton. The way Mahan hit that last shot, if Southern Illinois can continue to do that, you won't see the Blue Jays in the zone for long.
Creighton down by 1. They've won 3 straight on the road, where it's always tough, regardless of the conference.
Good hands that time by Roggenberg. Almost came up with a steal on Freddie McSwain.
Outside now to Mahan. Speaking of steals, Mahan and McSwain are 1-2 in steals in the Valley.
This may be the longest we've seen the shot clock run down of the game at less than 10 seconds.
Forget maybe, it is. Bell going for it, and Roggenberg slipping right in front of us was right cell, but he's up and back in the play. Roggenberg outside the Plouts. Right cell was open. They work it around. Roggenberg for 3 with Mahan on him. That's well wide of the basket. And the crowd lets him know.
It's funny how the crowd always wants to remind you when you put that air ball up.
Foul before it on Jerry Jones. Yeah, no one knows better. The crowd may be intelligent, but no one knows better about that being an air ball than the guy whose hands it left.
That's right. You hate to hear it. At home, they don't say anything.
Yeah.
Or it's real quiet whispers in the restroom at halftime.
At home, it's not an air ball, right? If the
It's a great pass. It's a great pass.
One that got away. Here's Wrightsell coming back. A 1-point lead for the Southern Illinois Salukis. A big game for both teams in the Valley. Harstad on the pump. Looked good, but it didn't go. But Amaya fouled him. And now we're having a little foul trouble on both sides.
Watch Harstad. Again, when he gets it there, he's going to cause problems. Amaya's going to leave his feet twice, and the second time it costs him the foul. But Harstad is so good at posting up inside, sealing you off, and when he gets it, he knows what to do inside.
Matt Wynn just checks in. He's a good outside shooter. They're best from 3-point range, and actually, he comes from the high school where Rich Herron used to coach, but now the coach there is Rich's brother, Ron Herron.
Keep it in the family.
I'll tell you, that's a tough act to follow your brother when he wins over 600 games in 55 tournaments. I mean, that's incredible. Harstad with 12 points. Give him 13. Bob Harstad 3 times this year already, and the season's not over. He's been the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week. Blue Jays up again by 1.
Again, the Blue Jays going to give a 1-3-1 half-court trap. After they beat it, they'll back down into their 2-3 zone.
Both teams, as you said earlier, will use heavy man-to-man, but they'll switch it up. They'll go zone. Outside for Wynn. Long kick out to Mahan.
Well, both coaches like an up-tempo game, and the tendency with the zone, you relax and not nearly as up-tempo as you'd like to be.
Moser commits the foul on that shot from Wynn, who'll go to the free throw line, only shooting at 54%, but he doesn't get many tries at the line either.
Again, not a real good foul. When you're 20 feet away from the bucket, you don't foul anybody. You contest it, you play aggressive defense, but you make them earn that shot. You don't give them 2 opportunities at the free throw line from 20 feet.
Here is Wynn, who redshirted his first year. A baseball athlete and a cross-country athlete as well in high school. Shot was missed, and he'll get another crack at it. He could tie it up with this one. Again, this is the Achilles heel of Southern Illinois. They're not a good free throw shooting team. One goes in there for Wynn. Tied up, 27 apiece. Right cell will bring it back with 4:43 to go in the first half. Tell you what, all the Valley coaches who have games later, they're watching this game. This is a big one in the Valley.
Well, again, the interesting thing is if the Salukis can win, that gives 5 teams 3 losses. Everybody will be even up. Of course, later on today's action, that'll take care of some of that, but that brings Creighton back to the pack, and anybody can still win the regular season.
And that would cause some waves throughout the Valley to know that Southern beat Creighton twice in the same year. That's what happened a year ago, only it was reversed, and Creighton went on and won it.
And conversely, if the Blue Jays win, they can take a big step towards defending their regular season crown.
2 solid Valley teams. A steal from Bell. Right cell leading the fast break on a bounce pass. Not a good one to Moser. He did well to recover, and Jones did well to block it. Moser gets caught for his second foul coming in.
You see that happen so often, John Paul. You miss the shot, and out of frustration, you commit 2 mistakes. But you could have stopped it with 1, but that time Moser, still upset that he missed the shot, picks up an easy foul.
Tough pass from Moser as well. You were talking before about a pass that needed to be a bounce pass. That one, there was no problem, except it wasn't a good pass.
Well, pass is so important, and particularly when you're on the break. You don't want to have to do too much movement when you're running all out. It really needs to be in front of you or right on the money. Not a whole lot of opportunity to adjust.
The guy that helps to make this team go, Sterling Mahan. This is going to be as quick a backcourt as there is in the Valley with Mahan and McSwain. Mahan has 8 points. He's had 20 points or better this year 7 times, and he's come close. You saw the graphic that showed he had 18 against Creighton a week ago. Right cell on the run. Blue Jays and the Salukis. Creighton up by 1, and there's Harstad with a nice finish. You kind of expected Harstad would have a great game today because he came out last week. He was so upset at that loss at home. He came back, took it out on Drake. Had a good game against Wichita State, but he's been awesome today.
Well, excellent execution, and immediately Jerry Jones gets up off the Saluki bench. He's ready to come back in.
There's Wynn down low, nowhere to go. Mahan, the pull-up jumper from 3, and he got it. Sterling Mahan's 3-pointer ties it at 31.
Hey, John Paul, he's only 6'1", but because he's got very good jumping ability, he can go up and shoot over the defensive man.
He shoots that 3-pointer better than 36%, second on the club. Plouts the other way, the 3rd leader in the Valley, but he missed. It was in and out. Blue Jays couldn't get their 3 to fall last week. They were 6 for 20 against the Salukis.
Blue Jays going to stay in the 2-3 zone.
Oh, McSwain, that looked good. Plouts couldn't hold it. Moser can't. Here's right cell trying to turn him. McSwain got it away, and a foul on Fred McSwain. One of the things that was done so well last week in terms of Southern is the way they defense the 3-point shot. In the case of a Roggenberg or a Moser, they like to have a little time to set it up, and when the shot's there, as you pointed out earlier, once it wasn't taken, then all of a sudden the quickness, they get out there and a hand in the face, and that really disrupted this Creighton team, and especially Roggenberg last week.
Well, you've got to be able to extend the defense out, and that's where the athletic ability that Southern Illinois has really comes into play, because they can stay compact at the last minute. Because they're quick, they can go ahead and get out and get a hand in your face just enough to disrupt your shot.
This player right saw when he was a junior in high school at the state of Indiana in free throws, and there goes the jinx right there on him.
Every time you say it, you miss the next one.
75, maybe there's something to that. 75% is what he was shooting this year from the free throw line. He could have broken the tie. Here's Wynn, 3-point range. He got it.
Well, you can just see the confidence in Matt Wynn. He started playing well when the team was over in Hawaii, and he's been their designated zone buster in that role, and he looked confident on that shot.
Just a sophomore, a couple more years to go for Wynn. Roggenberg on his drive. He pulls up, gives it outside to Bell. Blue Jays will work it around. Salukis lead now by 3 because of that 3-pointer. Plouts faked it from 3. Roggenberg to Bell. Everybody getting a turn at it. Shot clock still with plenty of time. Down to 20. Down low, the double team. Harstad takes it into the paint. Blocked by Jones, but he fouled him over the top.
Came right across Harstad's body. Picked up the foul.
I like to see when players like Harstad, you're looking and you see there's 2 guys, maybe 3. Why does he go up with that confidence? He knows he can either get the basket or the foul or both.
Well, Harstad, again, no matter how many times you block his shot, he's going to keep coming back. He's like a bad dream. He just keeps coming back at you over and over. And the law of averages is always going to be on his side.
And that was a compliment, by the way, when you said he's like a bad dream.
Well, defensively, he is. Now, offensively, for Tony Baroni, he's exactly what you want to see inside.
And he gets better every year. Harstad, what you see is what you get from him. And he has been in double figures for most of his career. He's never missed a start for Creighton, a very durable player.
Well, for young players, he's got the work ethic. He's a great example. If you work hard and you continue to work at it, just how good you can become just by all that dedication and work ethic.
Bob Harstad has 19 points out of the team's 33. And as we go to break with 2:03 to go in the first half of play, Southern Illinois is up by a slim 1 point. Our Missouri Valley Conference basketball game of the week next week should be a good one. Both of these teams very much alive in the pack in the Valley. Stan Albeck's Bradley Braves visit Bob Bender's Illinois State Redbirds next Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. That is our Missouri Valley Conference game of the week. Coming back, Mahan. It's a 34-33 Salukis lead, and the three-point shot hurting Creighton, helping again Southern.
Well, that's 6 out of 7 for Southern Illinois on the game. Creighton struggling, only 1 for 8 from the three-point line.
And when you examine the statistics, they'll show you Creighton always in first or second place from three-point range in the Valley. Southern's down the bottom. This is not the way the script was supposed to go. Not from three. Harstad kicked it out despite falling. Roggenberg to Bell. Going up on the double team. He missed. Look at Harstad fight and score.
That's the 10th point that Creighton has scored, with Bob Harstad scoring 10 straight points for the Blue Jays. He has been the offense the last 3 minutes of this game for Creighton.
21 points out of the 35 for Creighton. He's keeping him alive at a time when Southern's trying to bury Creighton on the three-pointer. Shipley, I thought his foot hit the line, but they're going to give him 3. 11 for Shipley, and he has 3 three-pointers. Roggenberg, what is that, 7 of 8 now, right? From 3.
They found the distance in the first half from the three-point line, and that's been the difference in this game in the first half.
Roggenberg. Look at the numbers.
Look at that. Outstanding, the Salukis, and Creighton can't find the range. Only 1 three-pointer so far.
And you would think that Southern would have a bigger lead than they have, hitting the threes like they are. But Harstad has kept them close. A 5-point Saluki lead. Could have been 7 with that basket. Plout's got a piece, not all. Bell, good rebound. While falling and not traveling. Here's Cole. Could be a 2-on-1 if he hurries. And now he saw pressure coming back and decided to pull up. Juwan Cole will bring it back out.
Boy,
no time on the clock.
Rich Herron really working the sideline over there.
7 seconds now, 5 left on the game clock. Cole banks it from 3. And the buzzer sounds, and I'll tell you, that could be a very big three-pointer. Rich Herron knows that.
Remember that shot, the clock winding down, and a big, big basket for the Blue Jays.
40-38, that brings them to within 2, but the psychological lift for one team going into the dressing room at halftime compared to the downer for the other team might mean something for the second half. We'll come back and talk about it. It's a 2-point lead for Southern. We are back in Carbondale. The home team Salukis lead it 40-38, just a slim 2-point lead. And right now it's time to take a look at our halftime stats, being brought to you by Coors Light, and John Albright will see what those stats tell us.
Well, the biggest number, look at the number of field goal attempts. You see the differential right there just in the number of attempts. The three-point shot, as we'll get into a little bit later, was the big story. Southern Illinois not capitalizing on the free throws like they could have. Look at the rebounds. That's what's kept Creighton in. That rebound advantage has kept Creighton in this basketball. You see the points off turnovers. Again, turnovers not really a big factor. Look at the 5 blocks. Big defensive plays for the Salukis. For Tony Baroni and the Blue Jays, they're going to have to play much better defense. They're going to have to contend those three-point shots. That's what burned them in the first half. And again, you got to pull the offensive trigger. The starting backcourt only had 1 bucket. That happened to be Cole's big three-point shot in the first half. Needs some more perimeter scoring.
Last game, they only had 5 points off the bench, and normally there's a lot more bench scoring, so that would be a +2 if Baroni's crew can get that. Here's McSwain, the Southern Illinois crowd standing, waiting for the first basket. We'll see how long the Salukis make them wait. Shipley was going to go back up. Plouts tagged him on the line. So Darren Plouts is going to be called for that foul. First foul of the half, and we're only 23 seconds in. Shipley, a good look at him, gained about 15-20 pounds during the offseason, bulked up, and Rich Herron pretty strong on that physical conditioning end.
Well, Shipley with a big half. He had 11 points in the first half. He's averaging just over 11 points on the year, so he came up big for Jerry Jones, his absence in the first half.
Here's the drive, and someone opened the door, and Mahan jumped in.
Boy, that immediately got Tony Baroni up, and Porter Moser is going to check in. Just a defensive breakdown that time by the Blue Jays.
And Mahan took full advantage of that. Moser kicks it out to Plouts.
Should say Roggenberg's going to check in quickly.
Coming back the other way, it's Mahan. 42-38. Southern by 4. This is their biggest lead. What a great shot from Mahan.
Well, again, another defensive breakdown. That time, Mahan was able to drive the baseline, go underneath the goal. He hit a tough shot, but far too easy that time penetrating against the Blue Jay defense.
Slapped away. Oh, Creighton has come out, and after that cold three-pointer at the half, they were not the stronger team coming out. Jones with a miss. Amaya blocked by Gallagher, playing with 3 personal fouls.
He's got to be very careful not to pick up that 4th foul early in the second half. Sat down a lot of minutes in the first half. They'd like to get him into the offensive flow before he picks up that 4th foul.
It's a 6-point lead here, 44-38 for Southern, and Cole's shot is way off. Rebounded on the baseline. Plouts went up nice and got the easy 2. He has a total of 9 points. That'll slow momentum down a little bit. They needed a basket.
Well, again, rebounding, that's what's kept Creighton in this game. They were really struggling from the field, particularly from the 3-point line.
Oh, and Creighton wins the boards. They're 8-2 this year.
That time Sterling Mahan with an illegal pick. He was moving. They'll pick up the foul.
Tony Baroni seems to be going to his bench more and earlier in the game than he did before. I'm wondering if part of that is not because of the running Southern's doing, and also his team played 40 hours ago. Southern has been off for a week.
Interesting approach, the way both coaches looked at this game. Stark contrast. Creighton really worked hard yesterday, whereas Rich Herron, as you mentioned, they've been off. They only went for 40-45 minutes, and he got them in bed early.
I was told late last night, too, that Creighton, when they practice hard, usually the results are there. And I was told that when they practiced last week against Southern, it was not as intense, and they didn't play well at all. It might have been their worst game of the year. Foul underneath appears to be on Shipley. There's the coach of the year from a season ago, getting an awful lot of national attention, and well-deserved as well. He's really brought this team right back up.
Certainly is. He's an up-tempo coach, very active, very energetic, and he really challenges his players. Actually, he demands from his players that 100% effort every time they're on the court.
There's Shipley looking on the lob. It's blocked. Harstad got a piece. Harstad tried to come out with a dribble. In retrospect, not a good decision.
Well, that's why you give it to the guard on the break. That's what they're in the game for, to handle that basketball.
McSwain handling it and picking up the 2 with a nice roll. But you know, McSwain, who's their leading scorer, only has 4 points. A 4-point lead. Southern Illinois has feasted on the 3-point shot today. Shooting better than 80% there. They'd like to save some of it for future games. Not get them all today. Harstad outside. Roggenberg had the 3 again and turned it off. Gallagher inside. He does so well, whether he's posting up, back to the basket, or facing the basket. He does everything well for a big man.
Well, Roggenberg did a nice job. He froze the defense, giving just enough time for Gallagher to get open on the inside. Nice job by Gallagher.
Almost a steal from Wrightsell. Here's Mahan. Looked out of control when he took the shot. Here's Wrightsell from Gallagher, who took the boards. Gallagher has been in the 20s the last 3 games. Some big rebounds and big blocks. Roggenberg on a nice lob underneath. Gallagher missed in the reverse. Harstad right where he should be. Bob Harstad, 23 points.
That last play just shows you the all-out hustle. That time Harstad had to come from the free throw line. He got in position and came up with a big basket, and it ties this game up at 46.
Well, there was a 6-point lead at one point, and Southern Illinois, I think, wisely calls the timeout. They like the way they came out, but they don't like what's happened the last 30, 40 seconds. Well, don't forget, everyone, that the Valley Finale is coming up, and it'll be hosted by Illinois State at the Redbird Arena March 3, 4, and 5, and actually on the 6th, too, when they'll have the championship game. Tickets are available for that. Call your local MVC Athletic Department ticket office, and we'll look at Mr. Gallagher and Mr. Harstad coming back.
Now you're going to watch. Shot's going to go up, and Harstad's come from the free throw line. Just beat Jones down there. Excellent positioning. You see what the hard work finally pays off.
We were speaking moments ago about the Valley tournament. This feels like a tournament game. The emotion's there from the crowd, and the intensity is there from the players in Shipley.
May well be a preview of the Valley Conference Final.
Last 2 years, Creighton has knocked out Southern. Last year in the final, the year before in an earlier round game. Plouts to Cole and back to Plouts. That's a 3-pointer if it goes. Doesn't work for Plouts. Hasn't worked for anyone really today for Creighton, except for Cole when he put it up with a couple seconds to go before the half ended. Mahan was out of control, but he got it. That's a great basket. And if that fouls on Cole, it's his 4th.
Big play by Mahan. You're right. He was out of control. Again, that's one of those plays. If it goes, it's a great play. If not, you get a chance to sit down and watch a lot of basketball. Now watch. The defense relaxes just for a second. Mahan, instead of kicking it out, drives down hard. And you see him operate it inside. And Plouts picked up that foul.
Is that, they called it on Plouts? Because I thought originally they were looking at Cole. They were both in there. Mahan got it. We'll double check it for you.
You're right. No, Cole did pick it up. Plouts on the replay looked like he was the one that committed the foul, but it was on Cole.
Right cell was blocked by Shipley, who will commit his second foul. Shipley last year in the Valley Tournament had 20 rebounds in one game, breaking a long-time record held by Larry Bird.
Not a bad person to break a record. Put you in select company there.
And he said the other day, he said it's nice when he looks at the record books, he'll see Larry Bird's name under his in one category.
He's something to tell your children and grandchildren all about.
Absolutely. Right cell will connect on his first free throw. Salukis are leading at 51-47. Right cell can narrow the gap. 75% from the free throw line, almost at 50% field goal wise. A couple of big free throws for Right cell. 51-48, a three-point lead for the Salukis. They averaged better than 5,000 fans a game last year, actually 5,700. They're over 6,000 this year, and they should have a lot better than 6 here today. They were projecting about 8.
Okay, the Blue Jays back in that 2-3 zone.
Shipley missed a shot, landed on his backside, and that hurts the tailbone. They get ball possession back, though, and a new shot clock.
I can tell you, if Shipley's taking his time getting up, that was a legitimate blow that he took, because he's a banger. He's a blue-collar player. He doesn't sit down just to relax.
No, he hasn't missed many games for this club. Played in a majority of them since starting out. In fact, he led this team in rebounding as a freshman. Kelvin Lawrence just got a big 3.
Again, that three-point shot has been the tremendous difference in this game today.
Roggenberg on the drive. Count it. Matt Roggenberg, more of a threat from the perimeter, just makes a great attempt on the drive.
I don't think they're going to count the basket. You're going to see Roggenberg drive. Now, McSwain, there's the foul right there. Good call by the official. They don't count the basket, but a good heads-up drive that time by Roggenberg.
I thought they counted it. Here's Plouts. No wonder Tony Barone wasn't enthusiastic on the bench. 3 from Roggenberg. He'll take that instead. Matt Roggenberg.
Boy, Roggenberg really just pumped his fist. He's been frustrated. That's maybe gets him into the game offensively. And again, they need that perimeter scoring.
Bad pass forced actually by Plouts defensively. Here comes Darren Plouts on the skip pass across to Roggenberg. Career-wise, he has more three-point field goals made than anyone in Blue Jay history. Harstad found the baseline and also found either Shipley or Jones there. Looks like Shipley and Harstad a little slow to get up.
Again, a familiar pose. Bob Harstad operating inside. Shipley commits the foul. And Harstad went down hard that time.
It's going to be the third personal on Shipley.
Shipley's got to be very careful not to pick up that fourth, particularly with Jones's situation with the flu symptoms. He's not really 100%. Can't really go the entire 20 minutes with 100% effort. So very important for Shipley not to pick up that fourth foul.
That was a shot of Bell, who has checked in. And actually, this is the first time all day that Tony Barone has gone to a bigger lineup, and maybe to try and take advantage of the bangers inside and get someone else in foul trouble, because Bell is in. Normally, they've had pretty much a 3-guard setup. Plouts plays that number 3 position, but might be a guard in other situations.
He can handle the basketball, so you're right. He gives them some mobility, and he is the outside shooter amongst that group. He's not an inside player. He's more outside oriented.
Well, Bell also had 4 rebounds in that first half, so Tony Barone maybe a little more help for Gallagher and help defensively as well. Shipley to the outside. Amaya, who had just checked back in.
Now watch the Blue Jays. Watch how they're extending that zone now. Much more spread out, and that's where the pass is going to be, inside. That's where the soft spot in the zone is going to be.
Big rebound by Amaya, and they're pointing at right cell underneath for the foul.
Well, when you extend the zone, you ask for those inside passes right in the paint area. That's exactly where Freddie McSwain got it. He missed the shot, and Amaya right there is going to follow it up strong, and right cell reaching in, picked up the foul.
There's Plouts, who has checked back into the lineup.
He's at the end of the bench. They're looking at him.
Remember when he landed hard to our right? maybe they just want to be sure. He seems okay, but you never know.
Well, this is a permanent floor. This is not a portable floor, so a permanent floor much harder when you hit the floor as opposed to a portable floor that's set up and actually has 6-8 inches underneath it. I can tell you right now, unless it's just something that he can't, you'll see him back in the game immediately. He plays with pain and plays with it often.
I'm not a gambler, but I say he's coming back. Couple of free throws by Amaya, who's not a good free throw shooter. At least he hasn't been this year. Only at 54%. Southern with a 3-point lead. Harstad getting ready to check back in. Almost on cue. Right cell. Looking for Gallagher. Big matchup between Amaya and Gallagher, and it's physical down low. Gallagher stepped out, or he walked. That's the call. They were trying to find him on that drive. That was a heck of a battle between Amaya and Gallagher. A good, clean battle, but very physical.
Well, they got it to him, but Gallagher's on the move here. Now, you see the pass. He leads it. Right there, he's got to be able to catch it and stop. Couldn't do it in time, and the turnover results.
Southern will have it. This game quite different from last week when it was turnover city. 27 steals in that game. I mean, that's so uncharacteristic. Even though both teams are capable of stealing the ball, they protect the ball better than they show, and it's a total of 19 turnovers for both teams up to this point. Last week they were both well above their average. McSwain pulled up, didn't know what to do with it. Mahan for three. Finally, a three-pointer is missed. Harstad, good lead pass on the lob to Roggenberg. Alley-oop for Gallagher, not a good one there. Hard pass to make, and I'm not sure if Gallagher thought it was coming or if he thought Roggenberg was going to continue on the drive.
Well, Amaya did a good job of hustling back. He got in the way of it, maybe just enough to stop Gallagher's concentration. Now watch Amaya. He's going to come out of nowhere. Look at that. Gallagher can't see it at all, and you see the pass wasn't on line anyway. That's a high-risk pass right there.
Here's Gallagher with a turnaround. No good. Plouts fighting for it. Got stripped of the ball as he went up. Will make it Harstad. He and Plouts were in it, but it was Harstad who went up. Mahan low. McSwain on the baseline. Jumper no good. Rebound Jones. And as he went up, Plouts got a hand in. Well, you've seen Jerry Jones play, and I have several times, and it's obvious that the one thing that's not there with Jerry is the intensity level. The flu has obviously drained him. He's giving it a good effort just by being out there, and he's had the odd rebound, but he's not the kind of force or factor he's been in previous games.
John Paul, when you drop 12 to 15 pounds, you don't come back in 2 or 3 days. It takes you a week to 10 days. He's only been practicing. He practiced a little bit Thursday and went yesterday. Yesterday was a very light practice. That's the first work he's had in a week. So it'll take him another week before he's back at full capacity.
When you say he lost 12 to 15, you're talking about in a week's time. That's the incredible part. That's a lot of weight to drop in 1 week. Jones, good on the free throw, where Rich Herron knows he struggled this year at 57%. Jones again at the line. A good transfer from the University of Texas at El Paso last year. Top rebounder in the Valley. Jerry Jones has 2 good free throws there, and that opens up a 5-point lead for Southern. And Dewan Cole will check in now for Latrell Wrightsell. Gallagher will inbound. Creighton down by 5. They were down by 7 2 nights ago to Wichita State. Tony Baroni called a timeout, and everything changed after that. They pounded it more inside, and Gallagher ended up with 16 second-half points. No foul, as Gallagher, I thought, got bumped from behind. The play continues.
Actually, the pass was also behind him on the move.
Roggenberg reached in and fouled McSwain. Plouts is getting ready to check back in with 4 fouls. Roggenberg apparently will be replaced. Let's see, Plouts is coming in, and Roggenberg does go out. So Darren Plouts will replace him.
They look at Tony Baroni, immediately goes over to Roggenberg, tells him just a little something, say, get your breath, get ready, you're going to go back in, and here's what I want you to do when you go in.
Here's McSwain, the pull-up, right in there for Freddie McSwain. 6 points, he only had 2 in the first half.
Well, that time McSwain made it look easy, didn't he?
He did. I thought he was going to use the glass the way he went up, but he just put it in. They're going the other way. Gallagher doesn't think so, neither does Tony Baroni. Rich Herron thinks so, or at least he's not going to argue. Matt Freddie getting ready to check in, and Tony wants a timeout. He's still upset about the last call. Off the hands of the defender is what Baroni is saying. Obviously not in agreement. His club is down by 7. He'll try to work some magic in the huddle. We'll see if he can when we come back. timeout, but while we were away at commercial, he was still hot about that last call. He thought it should have been Creighton's ball off of Saluki and not on Chad Gallagher. 60-53. Salukis are leading it by 7. Biggest lead of the day for either side. They're back on their feet in Carbondale.
2 big possessions. This one for Southern Illinois and the next one for Creighton.
That was a little bit of a gamble on the alley-oop. That would have brought the house down, though, if that went in.
Not a good decision, though.
Petty. Now to Plouts. Matt Petty is a good outside shooter. He was 4 for 5 in the Drake game. Plouts now to Petty. McSwain on him. Nowhere to go. Harstad will take the jumper from 15 out of his range. Jones will get it. Coming back the other way, McSwain on Harstad. Had the edge in speed, and he lays it up and in. Okay, that speed, but the positioning on him, too.
Well, it all started with Harstad taking a shot very uncharacteristic of Bob Harstad. It takes him also out of rebounding position when he shoots that shot.
It's going the other way. Creighton losing a little bit of poise here in front of this crowd. And a good crowd it is, a very enthusiastic crowd. I tell you, they read the papers, they watch the games on TV, they know the importance of this game.
Again, a win here by Southern Illinois that brings Creighton back to the pack, and you've got 5 teams with a legitimate chance of winning the regular season championship.
Well, win or lose for either side, it's going to be a heck of a tournament at the Redbird Arena. Couple of tips, Bell looking for it. They're going to say stepped on the line. Bell looking for his 5th rebound.
Another interesting thing, much different roads for these 2 clubs after today's game. For Creighton, 3 of their remaining conference games are on the road. For the Salukis, 4 of their remaining 6 are right here.
Blue Jays fighting amongst themselves for the rebound, but they'll take it. Right side will lead them. Fast break. They need some points when they come down this end.
They're going to get it to Harstad right now. They do.
Look at that. 4 players converged on him, and Mahan is called for the foul. Talk about drawing a crowd. They needed a traffic cop to get everybody away from Harstad.
Well, that's a great example of what the problems on the perimeter have done. When you don't have anybody that's been sticking that perimeter shot effectively, you can collapse everybody inside. And that time, Harstad got a lot of company, and Mahan picked up the foul.
There's Plouts. The other night, Moser hit it, and that really opened things up for Gallagher inside. Right side. Picked up by McSwain. Right side, nowhere to go. Harstad was going to lob into Gallagher, now goes up, blocked. I thought that would have been a goaltending, but they called a foul before it.
Well, may not have ever reached the rim.
If that's on Jones, that's his 4th, and it is. And that's another thing, too, for him getting in foul trouble this early. Part of it is probably he's compensating for not feeling well and not making the kind of moves that he would normally make.
Now, one of the things, when you're tired, you reach, you're not in nearly as good a defensive position as you normally would be.
He's a good player. Valley fans are seeing him at his worst, unfortunately, because of the flu. And someone else might have just said, let's forget this game. I'm not feeling well, and go to bed.
Free throw that time by Harstad breaks an 8-0 run during the last 3 minutes by the Salukis.
So that's an important free throw for Harstad and for the Blue Jays. Harstad connects on 2. 27 Bob Harstad points. He's been in the 30s 5 times this year. In the 20s, 13 times. And just about every game, it's either he or Gallagher leading in points and rebounds. Bell will bring it out. Now to McSwain. Back for Bell. He came in for Mahan, who's in some foul trouble. The ball won't go. Gallagher on a couple of tips. Got it. Gallagher in a real battle still now gives it off to Wrightsell. 62-55. Creighton down by 7. They can cut it here. Trying to force it into Harstad and got a good break because it was tipped the other way. There's that run that John was talking about in the last 3:30. Rich Herron, the son of a Methodist minister, has really got things cooking here. They should have 20 wins barring a real bad collapse here.
He's done
the 2nd year in a row. So
outstanding job getting this Southern Illinois program back to a contender here in the Missouri Valley.
Used to be exciting here, the NIT years of Walt Frazier. They're bringing that kind of basketball back. They're running now. They're running and jamming. 3 years ago, this team, they hardly ever dunked the ball. Here's Bell. And that is Rich Herron jumping up and down on the bench. Getting points from his bench. Here's Wrightsell. 64-55. This is the biggest lead now at 9. Outside, Wrightsell forcing it down low. Bob Harstad drew the foul but didn't get the basket. Foul is going to be called underneath, I think, on Shipley.
Well, Harstad's your go-to man if you're Creighton. That's not any big surprise. He's the one you want to get it inside because he has that ability, a strong inside player, to take it up, and he's got the potential for that three-point play.
Jones will go out. I didn't catch who that foul was on, but it was not on Shipley.
Amaya picked up the foul.
Amaya should have 3 then as Harstad connects. He now has 28 points. Bob Harstad also with 11 rebounds. So he's doing it the complete game once more. Bob Harstad like clockwork now. Those are important free throws. He's been a real source of bright light for this team today when everything else has not been working.
Harstad also contributed with 11 boards in this game.
Bell now to Shipley. Looking now for Lawrence to the outside. McSwain, three-point range. That's no good. Gallagher will take it. Here's where the rebounds that Tony Borney talked about earlier today are real important in this second half. It helped them, as you said, stay close in the first half when they out-rebounded it.
Well, particularly at the offensive end, John Paul, because it takes some emphasis off having to shoot such a good percentage from the field. It turns into what do you do per possession.
That would have been a big basket from Wrightsell. Creighton's players say that he stepped out. Wrightsell with a great hustle. Look at the rebounds in the second half. Southern with the edge.
Second half has been a different story than the first half. Get a good look at Tony Baroni. Think he's not coaching? You think he's not into this game?
As much as any player on either side.
He is a battler. His players certainly typify their head coach.
Bell now to Wrightsell. Wrightsell bringing it out. Bell again. Gallagher. A short jumper is good for Chad Gallagher. He has 12 points here. Still playing with those 3 fouls. Has not picked it up. He's done a good job. How's he stayed out of it? Out of foul trouble.
Well, they haven't challenged him. Now think about it. They really haven't challenged him nearly in the second half as they did in the first half.
Challenge was coming there, but looks like Wrightsell committed the foul before Amaya was going up. Couple of substitutions, Mahan and Wynn. May we see the outside shot again? May we have the envelope, please? Let's see who they're going to take the place of.
Well, that time, John Paul going back, look at Tony Baroni, and he was signaling to his players in the zone, pack it in, pack it in. And I think Rich Heron saw that, and immediately he counters by sending in his long-range bombers. If they're going to pack it in, fine. You're going to have to take your chances with these 2 guys coming in the game.
And Bell and McSwain are the 2 that get a rest. Amaya is at the line. Short! Short. You could probably hear several players yell short. A little help out there. Here's Wrightsell coming back. This could be a big possession here for Creighton. 8:22 though, a lot of time left. But Southern has been on a good roll. Gallagher kicks it out for Plouts. They denied him the 3. They were looking for Bell, but he turned his back. A little miscommunication. Wrightsell with a great job.
Good penetration that time by Latrell Wrightsell. Big basket for the Blue Jays.
That's one of the things he wasn't doing at the beginning of the year, and that's one of the reasons he was taken out of the lineup. Outside for Wynn. That's not 3.
That shot by Wynn partially blocked.
Creighton will go the other way. That's not the kind of shot that they wanted at that point from Wynn. 64-61. So the lead has been cut from 9-3. Creighton on a comeback. Welcome back, everyone. It's a 3-point Salukis lead. John Albright, what happened? It was an 11-2 Salukis run, and then Creighton's come back for the last few buckets.
Well, good teams don't concede anything. Get a good look at a couple of fans.
Who's Big Ick? Coming back, must be someone on the crew. On the right side, here's Plouts. Now to Bell. Wrightsell. Creighton still very much alive in this one. There's plenty of time left, but they're not making a living at all. In fact, the 3-point shot has been killing them so far. Harstad on his pull-up. He's short. Off a tip. On the run, here's Lawrence. Calvin Lawrence, the pull-up jumper. No good, and Gallagher takes it. Good opportunity to get the crowd back into the game, and Rich Heron jumping up and down on the sidelines. Wrightsell looked out of control. Harstad off the tip. Bell walked, or make it ran.
Ran is the most correct term. Trying to come up with something positive, but boy, he got a hold of it and just kept going. And Wrightsell out of control there. You're exactly right, John Paul. It's not a good shot, not the shot you want to see him take. And then Bale finished it off by traveling with a basketball.
64-61, a 3-point Salukis lead. 7:09 to go in our Valley Game of the Week. We billed it as a great one at the start, and that's what we've seen today. Off a steal, Wrightsell. Mahan can catch him, but Wrightsell put it up.
It cuts the lead to 1. Not a smart turnover. For Southern Illinois, no turnover is a smart one, but a very,
especially at this stage, right?
not a good time for that one to occur.
Mahan brings it over the half-court line. It's a 1-point game. McSwain to Mahan. Clouts drawing Mahan for the assignment. Here's Lawrence feeding low. Shipley pumps once. It's up on Gallagher. Miss. Gallagher playing tough with 3 fouls.
He's done an excellent job in the second half of not picking up that 4th foul.
To the outside, we said earlier, Tony Barone says, and he says, I hate to say this, but I think Gallagher seems to play better when he's in foul trouble when he has 4. Harstad thought better of it. Clouts on the outside. Nice entry down low, but Gallagher was fouled, and Shipley is in some foul trouble as well. Creighton pounding it inside, trying to take advantage of Gallagher and Harstad. That's been their bread and butter all year.
Nice entry pass. Amaya a little out of position. And you see Shipley have to come over and help out. That time Amaya didn't know whether he wanted to go for the steal or not. Got caught right in the middle. And Shipley had to come over, and he picked up his 4th foul.
Checking out is Lawrence and Amaya. Wynn has checked back in. So has Jerry Jones as Gallagher is at the line. Gallagher missed. He's been a 71% free throw shooter. This is the 2nd best free throw shooting team in the Valley when you count all games at 70%. They bring it up to 75% in Valley games only. And in the last 4 minutes of the game, they shoot better than 75. That's a big rebound if you're a fan of the team in blue. Gallagher, great job on the turnaround.
And it pays off, and the Blue Jays have wiped out the Saluki lead. You see, in the last 4:55, Creighton has run in the midst of a 10-2 run.
And they're up now by 1. Mahan to McSwain.
Well, that also means they can continue to stay in that 2-3 zone. They don't have to come out and chase a man-to-man.
Mahan, not a good shot selection. There's Shipley fouled by Bell going over the top. One team before the timeout was out of control. That was Creighton. They didn't have any poise. We made that comment. After that timeout, coming back, it seems like Creighton has had the poise, and it's been Southern that's panicked.
Well, Creighton's not in first place in the Missouri Valley without a reason, and they have to do a good job of reorganizing, getting themselves together. And yes, they had some moments in this game where they haven't been organized, but when all said and done, they have the ability to regroup, and they've done an excellent job of maintaining that and keeping a 1-point lead.
Amaya checks back in for a win. And the big difference there is in the height advantage, and one guy's an inside player compared to the outside player. Amaya against Bradley had 17 points, but he had 18 boards. So he's doing, as a freshman, what Shipley was doing as a freshman, being an awesome threat every game on those boards. Shipley with another free throw. He's a 62% free throw shooter. Cans them both. Rick Shipley now with 15 points. That Saluki bench didn't look excited. They're really into this game. Maybe a little nervous excitement. Clouts to Harstad. It's a 1-point lead. Several lead changes in this game, and it's been tied several times as well, going all the way back into the first half of play. Biggest lead of the day was 9 for Southern in this half. Harstad went up, put it down. Offensive foul.
Big play by Jerry Jones. That's what plays like that are what you expect out of your senior. And Harstad doing what he does so often. It's a hard-nosed play. Now watch Jones. He's waiting for him. Good play that time by the 6'6" senior. Big call.
They're going to miss Jones next year. He's one of those players. He doesn't get the ink, but he does it every day.
Doesn't say a whole lot. He leads by example. Very quiet individual. He's married, got a youngster, and they think that's why he's mature. But you're right. They are going to miss him next year.
But they'll have Shipley in that three-pointer back. A 4-point Salukis lead. This is a great game for the fans. I know that the stomachs of both coaches might be churning inside, but for the fans, they love it. Harstad with 31 points.
You just cannot afford to let him have the basketball 5 feet away from the bucket.
McSwain outside, now to Mahan. Wrightsell with a bump in there, and Harstad says, why isn't that one an offensive foul? But perhaps Wrightsell wasn't set for that.
Well, I'm going to tell you what Tony Barone's upset. He's upset that he felt that Mahan was using his off arm to get position on Wrightsell, and Wrightsell agreed with his coach. That's exactly what he was lobbying for. Now let's take a look at it. Now watch Mahan's off arm. See right there?
Yes. The right arm pushing.
Now Wrightsell was moving, but the question is, where does the contact occur? Is it the arm first, or is it the body of Wrightsell? The official said it was Wrightsell, and Mahan's at the line.
He has 17 points, one more, and he'll have what he had last week against Creighton. Mahan was a very good player for this team last year coming off the bench. This year, not only did he start like they expected him to, but he's really put his stamp on this team.
Well, as a point guard, you look for a 2-to-1 ratio in terms of assists to turnovers. He's almost got that.
There's a steal. He leads the Valley in steals. Stripped by Reitzel. That's a great recovery by Reitzel, because not only would that have been an easy two, but talk about a roar of a crowd. I wouldn't have been able to hear a word you were going to say.
Let's take a look at it. Just tremendous anticipation by Sterling Mahan. Now it's a foot race. He relaxed just for a minute to get himself under control, and that's where Reitzel was able to catch up with him.
And Reitzel might have been the only guy on the floor, at least at this time, that could have caught him. Shipley picked up by Moser, who has checked in. McSwain to Mahan. Plenty of time. 29 on the shot clock. Plenty of time in the game. McSwain had nowhere to go. Gave it up to Amaya. Fouled by Bell. And actually, I think Southern did well to come away with anything out of there, because McSwain put himself in a tough spot and put Amaya in one as well.
McSwain made up his mind what he was going to do, regardless of what he saw in front of him. And you're right, he was very fortunate to get rid of the basketball and to get it over his teammate Amaya.
Amaya will be at the line. Roggenberg ready to check in. Roggenberg, one of 3 tri-captains with Bell and actually now the injured Todd Eisner. That was a tough break losing Eisner. He's such a smart player, and last year he led the Valley in 3-point shooting. As a team, they're still a strong 3-point shooting team, but Eisner was their best percentage-wise. The miss from Amaya. 71-67, a 4-point lead.
Yesterday at practice, watching practice, Rich Herron makes his players shoot 2 or 3 in a row just with them by themselves at the line. But Amaya takes so long usually to do that, he only made him make 1.
Well, he gets 1 out of 2 right there. And we'll have a timeout on the floor, but that last free throw by Amaya brings that lead up to 5 points for Southern Illinois with a lot of time left. Team is so good is that Rich Herron finally has his players. When he first started out here, he was winning 8 games a year. He was inheriting other players. Now they run more, they play better defense, they trap better, they go man-to-man, because he's got the kind of athlete that he wanted to recruit. In his 5th year, like Tony Baroni with Creighton. Low to Gallagher, and that's blocked. Intercepted, Matt Roggenberg. Big recovery.
No need to push that ball up the court for the Salukis. Very difficult turnover for head coach Rich Herron to stomach.
Tony Baroni got caught being dejected and then having to get the hopes back. He turned his body one way to the other to react to the steal or the interception. Here's Cole out to Harstad. They'll use a little clock. Moser for 3. Oh, big 3 from Moser. And that's his first 3. By my count, he had missed 4 in that first half, but Tony Baroni sticking with him, and the patience has paid off right there. It's down to 2 now. Salukis with a 2-point lead.
In 1-3-1 half-court trap. They've been falling back into the 2-3 zone once the Salukis beat it, and that's exactly what they continue to do.
This is a game that you and I thought at halftime might go just like this all the way through, and that's what's happening. 2:50 to play and a 2-point Salukis lead. McSwain made it 4. Harstad was taken down on the play. McSwain with 10 points.
That's exactly why coaches worry about your intensity in the zone. Very relaxed Creighton zone. McSwain recognized it and took advantage of it.
Roggenberg outside to Cole. Creighton plays better man-to-man, but probably they're more used to it. Harstad looked good, but it doesn't go. Tough shot. Looked like the kind he wanted and the kind that he has made. 2:22 to go. Southern, I would think, should have a little patience here. Now use some of that clock.
You want to be patient. Teams have trouble shifting gears, John Paul, so you don't want to put in the deep freeze yet. But yes, they have the opportunity to be patient, look for a high percentage shot.
McSwain caught him relaxed again, didn't he?
You just can't afford to relax defensively, particularly when you're down. You've really got to communicate, let everyone know where the ball is.
Moser now to Roggenberg, to Harstad. Tough pass, a hard one, and McSwain got him. Holding on McSwain. That's his 3rd foul. While we have this opportunity, I'd like to thank the people that helped us out today. The sports information director at Creighton, Kevin Sarver, Fred Huff, who handles things for Southern Illinois, and the coaches, Rich Herron, who you look at there, and Tony Baroni, who ironically were both competing and were both finalists for this particular job. It was a great result for both schools. Herron has brought basketball back to life here, and Baroni has really turned the corner with things at Creighton. So that's the case where both schools win. Harstad is at the line. Looked like he was going to beat his best this year of 35 points earlier when he had 31, but last couple of shots haven't fallen, and they've played or paid more attention to him defensively over the last couple of minutes.
Again, with the absence of that perimeter game being consistent, they can slough off, they can go back and give 2 or 3 men, when he gets the ball their attention. And it's much more difficult to operate against 2 and 3.
Free throws, that's not a surprise for Creighton. It is for Southern.
Both teams capitalizing at the line.
Bob Harstad, 33 points, and Creighton wants a timeout with 1:54 to go. 76-72, still very much a winnable game for both of these teams. It may go down to the final buzzer. Welcome back, everyone. John Paul Della Camera with John Albright. It's a 4-point Salukis lead. The flag being waved, but this is a long way from being over. What does Creighton have to do, though, to get back in?
Well, Creighton defensively, you want to try to come up with the turnover, the steal quickly, and then if you have to foul, you want to do it quickly. Make sure you don't get called for that intentional foul, but defensive pressure a key here in the next 140.
Both teams are in the bonus situation, and you got to know that Southern has some poor free throw shooters.
Well, if Jones gets it, he's only a 57% shooter, plus he's got the flu problem, so he's got to immediately get fouled.
Here's McSwain. McSwain fell, almost lost the ball. Very close to a travel. Shipley. They're working that clock well. 16 seconds on it.
Shipley, because he can handle the ball, he really creates a lot of problems for Creighton because at 6'7", he can still handle the basketball.
McSwain, not a good decision to go against the pack. Right cell, can he keep it alive? Oh, it's blocked by McSwain. Tony Brody screaming, where's the foul? Shipley the other way. That would have been a very big 2 for Creighton had he gotten the layup.
Tremendous recovery that time by the Salukis.
Roggenberg tried to foul and he missed. Shipley, though, is fouled by Gallagher. You looked at the bench. I saw Tony Baroni giving Roggenberg the signal to foul, but of course what Roggenberg's going to do is not make it look intentional like you were saying before.
Well, let's take a look at it. Right cell's going to come up with it. It's going to split McSwain and Mahan, and I believe it's McSwain. Yeah, what a play. Yeah. All ball. Good defensive play that time by Freddie McSwain. Let's look at the other end. You see Shipley takes it in hard. Gallagher has no choice but to foul him.
What I didn't see, somebody reached in and got a hand on it. That tip ball is what cost that layup to be missed. Otherwise, no one was going to catch right, so he would have had a nice chance for a layup. He lost control of the dribble. Somebody got a hand on it.
Big swing in this game because it was a 4-point game. Would have been a 2-point game. Now the Salukis have extended their lead to 5 points. Big turning point in this basketball game.
Wouldn't this be something if Southern wins, and you look at the 2 reasons why? 3-point play and free throw shooting, 2 of their weaknesses. On the opposite side, Creighton with the 3-point shooting until Moser hit one here later. It's been a very bad effort for them 3-point wise today.
Okay, it's 3-point shot time now for the Blue Jays.
Right cell. They've got Clouds and Roggenberg who can take it, but Southern knows that. Lawrence held them. They don't want that, do they?
Not a smart play at all. I'll tell you why. Not only do you get the free throws, but the clock stops.
Right.
Creighton has a chance to make up the 6-point deficit with no time running off. They also have the opportunity to organize what they want to do defensively, and there's no time running.
As much as Clouds wanted that 3-pointer, the clock's still running. Here he has a chance to get 2, but Clouds is not a good free throw shooter. 51%. He's got a nice touch from 3, but he struggled at the line. There are the free throws in the second half. One of Southern's weaknesses this year, and they've made it a strength today when they had to. Everything's got to go right to beat a Creighton Blue Jays team that is so well coached, so well organized, and playing as good a basketball as they've played all year. Won 11 of the last 13. Here's Clouds. He's got them both.
Okay, immediately you deny that entry pass, and they go long.
McSwain, Cole got a piece in, but he fouled him.
That's a high-risk play. I'm looking at Rich Aaron. He's looking at Shipley, and Shipley's going to go over and talk to him. He's going to say, nice pass, Rick, but let's make it a little bit lower risk the next time. Cole is out. Gallagher will come in. They took Gallagher out. They were looking for some quick hands on the steals. Now they're going to put Gallagher back in. They'll take a rebound. He fouled out with 3 points, and Cole, who has done such a great job over the last 8 games, did not have one of his better performances here today. Never seemed to get in sync, but he was substituted for a lot, and I think partially because of his struggles early. Well, Sterling Mahan clearly won the battle of those two, and Cole has been the key, as we talked about at the top of the game, 8-1 when he's been the starting point guard. that string will go to 8-2 unless the Blue Jays can make up this 4-point deficit with 45 seconds to go. Shot clock is off.
They'll need McSwain's cooperation here. They got it. Gallagher outside, coming back the other way to right zone. McSwain was a 71% free throw shooter. Double dribble.
I'll tell you what happened that time at right cell. Right cell didn't know that it was Gallagher who was right beside him. When he saw it was Gallagher, he thought just for a minute, don't give it to the big guy, and as a result, put it back on the floor. Costly, costly turnover.
That deflated the Creighton bench. A great tradition here at Southern Illinois. I'm not sure if it's because our producer graduated from here. This is his alma mater, Mr. James Angio, making his return to the scene of the crime. Rich Herron, got to be a very happy man the way this game is going. It's not over yet, but if a team is in the driver's seat, Rich Herron's got his keys in the ignition, and he's almost got that car going.
Well, again, he talked about it, the road that he must travel after this. He's got 4 of the 6 remaining conference games at home. He really is playing well. He will have defeated, if they continue to win this game, the #1 Creighton Blue Jays. He'll have swept the regular season. That's got to give you a lot of momentum as you point towards the conference tournament.
Shipley missed it. Here's Gallagher. There is still time with 33, but they need a basket, and they need to get the ball back quickly.
Well, the three-point shot, there's always a lot of things that can come into play.
Oh, this is totally unlike Creighton. They're beating themselves here, not so much Southern. Granted, there's some tight defense there, but there are other decisions there. Coming back now, McSwain, and a foul on Roggenberg for reaching in. We didn't tell you we were in another conversation before, but you saw the graphic. Plouts had fouled out, just like Cole had fouled out previous. Well, Creighton showed a lot of poise coming back here. They were on the road. They were down by 9. They made a game of it, got a lead. But I'll tell you, Southern, just like they did last week, showed everyone in this valley just how strong a team they are. They are 21 seconds away from their 19th win of the year.
Well, Southern's got to be the hottest team in the valley right now. They bring Creighton back to the pack for a little while today before everybody else gets underway. There'll be 5 teams with 3 losses. So you've got 5 teams still with an excellent opportunity to win the regular season championship.
A miss by McSwain. Was there a lane violation in there? Gallagher's upset. There's either a lane violation or a foul. If it's a foul, he's out.
Now, somebody stepped into the lane early.
That's what it was.
And McSwain's going to have another opportunity, another mental mistake. But if you're Creighton, you just can't afford to continue making these mistakes.
Stay with us. We'll be coming up with our Pepsi player of the game. Just a moment or so. Creighton will call a timeout. Tony Barone probably can't believe what he's seeing out there with his Creighton Blue Jays team. Our Pepsi player of the game for today. Tough choice because of the great contributions by so many other players, but how do you overlook 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists of Sterling Mahan? We congratulate him for being our Pepsi player of the game, and you'd love to give an honorable mention to Bob Harstad with 33 points, and he was in double figures in boards. 21 seconds left. What's Rich Herron talking about, and maybe Tony Barone?
Well, if you're Rich Herron, free throw shooting is the big news. Now watch. See Gallagher?
Oh, yeah.
Gallagher stepped in before McSwain released the shot. Now, once it's released, you can go ahead and go into the lane. But Gallagher was leaning, anticipating when that shot was going to be released, and it cost him.
Rich Herron wants to make sure, I would think, that they just don't lose the ball. Just protect that ball. Well, actually, it's going to be Creighton's ball coming in, so they're going to defend against them.
Actually, McSwain's going to be at the free throw line.
That's right. See how much I forget during a timeout? I think my brain just took a timeout. There's Herron. So McSwain has one more chance because it was the lane violation. And if he gets it, that's 5 points, and Creighton is really in a tough spot. He got it. Well, that's what happens when you give someone a second life. Now it's a 5-point lead with 21 seconds left. Creighton needs the quick basket. McSwain got it, but it's not going to work. 6 points in 20 seconds is not going to happen. Petty lost it. And Petty reached back in and fouled Freddie McSwain. They do not call that an intentional foul. That one hurts on this hard floor like you were talking about.
Now watch Petty. McSwain's going to strip it. Actually, an easy play for McSwain. Petty dribbling it right out in front of him. you really, if you're Southern Illinois, you don't take any chances. Really don't want to come close to committing a foul to stop that clock. But McSwain with a relatively easy strip that time to the freshman Petty.
McSwain is at the line again. Say he had a quiet first half, but now he has 15 points. 13 of them have come in the second half. He's a hot and cold player. When he's hot, he can carry a team with him. When he's cold, they'll sit him out, but they'll get him right back out there, and eventually he'll warm up. 16 points. He's been in double figures. Better than 95% of the games this year. 82-74 Southern. Petty puts up a running three-pointer that doesn't go. Harstad will equalize his best this year with 35 points, and Tony Brody calling a timeout there. He said to me earlier this week that he likes to stockpile those timeouts, doesn't like to call them early in the game unless he has to because of situations like this.
Well, what he did right then was he called the timeout. You don't have to take the full allotment. He says, let's stop the clock, go right back out, and let's play.
Rich Heron looking around, our coach of Southern Illinois here at Carbondale. On the pass in to McSwain, and they fouled him there. So it's 82-76 in favor of Southern Illinois. A reminder that today's game has been a presentation of Creative Sports Marketing. Our executive producer has been Mike Wells. The coordinating producer has been Jim Roller, and the producer, as we mentioned, a SIU grad, James Angio. Jack Dorsett, the associate director, facilities coordinator, has been Ann Craig. We hope you've enjoyed this one, and we hope we'll see you next week when Bradley is on the road against Illinois State. And this loss by Creighton makes that game and other games in the Valley today even more important.
Again, you've got Creighton, Bradley, Tulsa, Illinois State, and Southern Illinois now all with 3 losses. Now, Tulsa and Bradley will play later on today, so that'll take care of one of those teams to knock it out. But you got 5 teams with less than a month to go in the conference race with a chance to win the regular season championship.
Creighton's 3-game road winning streak comes to a grinding halt here in Carbondale. Our final score, Southern Illinois 84, Creighton 76. Mahan, a strong player on Southern side. Bob Harstad, 35 points in a losing effort the other way. For John Albright, I'm John Paul Della Camera. Thanks everyone for watching our Missouri Valley Conference basketball game of the week.